2, 3. Have his other arm. Grab him.
Yeah, and someone just came and took the tent. What the f? Oh my.
Extreme camping encounters demand split-second decisions where nature offers 0-second chances. Tonight, you'll see a frozen river collapse overhead and a charging wolf push survival to the absolute limit. If you fell through the ice, could you handle the panic? On March 13, 2024, the YouTube channel TopCat AK recorded what looked like a routine winter crossing in Denali, Alaska. The channel documents snowmobile expeditions through remote terrain. That day, the group was moving across the Tulitna River, reading the ice, keeping pace, staying alert. Then, one step changed everything. The group had been crossing the frozen river the way they likely had before, steady, cautious, with no obvious signs of danger ahead. Then one of them stepped onto a section that gave no warning. The ice collapsed instantly, and in a single moment, he was gone beneath the surface. Above,
Oh, shit! Daniel, need help down here. Daniel! You all good? Fuck, he's underneath it. Hold on, buddy. I can't get it up. I need some help!
the others stood on solid ground. Below, he was being pulled through freezing water, trapped under a sheet of ice with no direct way out. That frozen ceiling became the biggest obstacle between him and the people trying to reach him.
This side, Jeff.
This side. Jaden, run around by him.
Pull my helmet off. I don't know. I don't want to let go.
Just grab him. Grab his arm and anything. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Have his other arm.
Good. Grab him. Come on, guys.
They moved fast. They repositioned, threw ropes, and tried to coordinate. But the ice beneath them kept cracking with every shift in weight, flexing under the pressure. With careful positioning, they finally made contact. It wasn't clean or stable, but it held. From there, they pushed against the current below and the weakening ice underfoot at the same time. Slowly, he pulled himself back onto the surface. Once his weight settled on something solid, the immediate danger passed.
1, 2, 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Don't let it go backwards, boy. Yeah, let's pull forward.
Hold on. All right, 1, 2, 3.
Holy fuck. Oh,
yeah.
The snowmobile was recovered shortly after. But even when it was over, the ice kept cracking beneath them, a quiet reminder that the river had never fully agreed to let them pass. Crossings like this can fail in seconds, and there's rarely a second chance once they do. What do you think made the difference here? Quick thinking, teamwork, or something else? On July 25, 2025, the YouTube channel Outwild posted footage filmed high in the Peruvian Andes. The channel captures raw mountain content most climbers never expect to face. The group was ascending a steep route where every step required careful judgment. Then two of them crossed a section that looked solid, and wasn't. The climb started steadily. The terrain was demanding, but the group moved upward with focus, reading the route as they went. Then, the slope narrowed into steep rock and unstable snow. One climber held position lower on the route with the camera running, as two others continued above. The section they were crossing looked passable. Nothing visible suggested what was underneath. Both lost their footing at almost the same moment. No warning, no visible trigger, just two climbers suddenly in motion on a slope that offered nothing to stop them.
Hey.
Hey, ¿todo bien?
What followed wasn't a controlled fall. It was a rapid sequence of impacts across uneven rock, each one hitting before there was any chance to react. The terrain gave them nothing to grab. Once the movement started, gravity took over completely. The outcome was confirmed later. Both survived, with injuries including broken bones, but no fatalities. Watching the footage, that result is harder to expect than it sounds. The Andes don't signal what's coming. Sometimes one unstable step is all it takes, and everything after moves too fast to correct. Falls like this often start with a single small failure that triggers everything else at once. What do you think is harder to prepare for? The terrain, or how fast it can all go wrong? On October 8th, 2025, the YouTube channel Small Plots posted a video unlike anything Kevin had shared before. The channel usually covers relaxed camping trips in overlooked corners of the world, grounded, practical, sometimes lighthearted. But this time, he chose a location with a very different atmosphere. He decided to stealth camp beside Mount Hope Cemetery in Rochester, New York, a 200-acre burial ground holding more than 350,000 graves. It started as a seasonal challenge. It was October, and Kevin admitted openly that he didn't believe in ghosts, almost treating the whole thing as a joke as he slipped through a maintenance area to get inside undetected.
I do have to find somewhat of a place to squirrel away. I'm going to try and get up and out as soon as possible, but I don't know when the maintenance people come. I think if I just go over that way down a hill, I can get out without going back through that maintenance area, which is regardless of if I hear maintenance people arriving tomorrow morning. Oh yeah, there's graves. There are the graves.
The cemetery sat in the middle of the city, surrounded by neighborhoods, sports fields, and roads. That context made it feel stranger, not less. This wasn't remote wilderness. It was a thin strip of woods pressed against thousands of graves, right in the middle of urban life. He found a small, concealed spot only a few yards from headstones, close enough to see them through the trees. As daylight faded, the tension that built had nothing to do with the supernatural. It came from unpredictability. The cemetery was still active. Dog walkers passed through, cyclists used the paths. Workers were due in the morning, and Kevin knew he had no right to be there.
It's nighttime now. Oh geez, I've been quiet for a while, and me doing that apparently disturbed something over there. I don't know. Tons of animals in this tiny little patch of woods. Some might call it a forest, but it's time to eat. I've got this thing ready to go. It's maybe a little unorthodox, or maybe like super common. What I'm gonna do is I'm having hot dogs. I'm gonna just light this up, and I'm gonna cook the hot dogs on the flame of this thing. Well, that was a delicious meal. Really can't complain. It's kind of like weirdly good. Didn't expect it to be that good, just cooking it right on the isobutane there. Yeah, strange night so far. I don't know if you... What is that? It sounds like something falling on the tree, but like, oh God. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm dealing with back here. A lot of animals, a lot of strange sounds. Nothing like haunting or anything like that. Like there was a deer that like ran maybe 5 feet away from me, and I just shined my light on it and saw it that ran away real quick. I'm in a very small forested area in the middle of the city, so animals don't have a lot of places to go. Little small forested areas are very dense with animals. Still don't know what that was that I just heard. It was just like tick, 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 something just continuously happening on the other side of this tent. Not really sure what that was. I wish I could get more footage of the cemetery and everything, but even despite the fact that it's like one day away, maybe a gunshot, it's too dark to film. Yeah, well, like I said, middle of the city.
The night filled with constant movement. Leaves crunched, branches snapped, and rustling never fully stopped. Deer moved through the trees just a few feet away. Small animals crossed the forest floor in every direction. At one point, he heard what sounded like sticks knocking together, a hollow, bone-like sound coming from inside the cemetery. He tried to explain it away. Antlers against wood, maybe. People somewhere past the graves. Possibly. But that kind of reasoning gets harder to hold on to when you're alone in the dark, beside 350,000 buried strangers.
There's something walking closer to me. It's probably a deer. but I'm gonna do something just in case it's not. Okay, it stopped walking, whatever it was. It didn't run away. I'm just gonna go with it. It's a deer. Oh man, I thought that was a deer's butt at first. Before I zoomed in, but that was a deer facing the other way. Yeah, well, this is what it's like here next to the cemetery. You know, it's pretty chill. A lot of cool chill things happening. Just like Mondo chill, you know? I know you can't really see it.
Distant whistles carried through the air. Faint metallic sounds drifted over from deeper inside the grounds. The moon, nearly full, cast just enough light to outline headstones without making anything feel safer. The real shift came just before sunrise.
Not quite sure what that sound was, but I'm in the tent now. I'm gonna hang out for a little while. You know, hear someone like on the tent, and I'm like, oh, who is that? My tent is like, it's like half mesh, probably more than half mesh. You can see outside. There's no secrets to anyone on the outside of the tent. There's no secrets to anyone on the inside of the tent. Well, I'm probably going to update more with like weird sounds and stuff, but if I don't, I'll see you guys in just a second. There's been something, probably a deer, walking around me all night, all freaking night. Sometimes it gets close. I hear it a little farther away, and I think that's actually maybe bone sound. That stick sound I heard was that buck maybe rubbing his antlers on stuff. I do know there's a buck walking around because I seen him. Oh no. I don't want to see that right now. It's most likely the workmen arriving for the day. It's like 6:30. Oh my god, there's just a vehicle over there. I'm screwed. I gotta go.
Around 6 a.m., headlights cut through the trees. A vehicle pulled into the maintenance area, the exact spot he had slipped through the night before. Then another vehicle, workers arriving for the day. The fear changed completely. It was no longer about what might be in the cemetery. It was about being found. He had to pack in near silence, surrounded by dry leaves that crackled under the slightest pressure. Every zipper felt too loud. Every movement felt exposed. His original exit was blocked. The vehicles were parked right where he had entered, so he used a secondary deer trail he had noticed the night before, moving quietly while workers unlocked gates only yards away. He cleared the area just as the cemetery opened for the day. What made this different wasn't anything ghostly. It was the weight of being somewhere deeply historical, densely human, and completely off limits, surrounded by graves in the dark, listening to sounds with no clear source, knowing there was nowhere to go if someone walked in with a flashlight. In the end, he got out unseen, but the morning rush, headlights through the trees, engines idling nearby, packing in silence, was enough for him to say he would never do it again. Sometimes the most unsettling part of a place isn't its history. It's the feeling of being somewhere you're not supposed to be, with no way out if someone finds you. What do you think got to him more? The sounds in the dark or the headlights at sunrise? The next case comes from the frozen banks of the Ordeja River near Veras, a small village south of St. Petersburg, Russia. It happened during the annual Orthodox Epiphany tradition, a ritual where participants enter icy water to mark the baptism of Jesus Christ, practiced as both a spiritual act and a test of endurance in extreme cold. Among those present was Anna Uskov, a 40-year-old lawyer and mother of 2. She stepped forward as many others had that day, joining a ceremony that had been repeated for generations. Eyewitnesses, including her own children, watched as she carefully entered an ice-cut opening in the river. The air was freezing. Beneath the surface, the current was moving faster than anyone standing at the edge could tell. For a brief moment, everything followed the ritual as expected. Then it didn't. Within seconds, she lost control in the water and was pulled under. The calm of the ceremony broke immediately. Her children called out for help. Her husband went into the river after her, but the water was near 0 degrees, the current was fast, and nothing worked in time. The scene at the riverbank became chaotic quickly. Bystanders tried to help, but the same ice that had formed the ritual space now blocked access and limited visibility. There was little anyone could safely do before she disappeared beneath the surface. Footage spread online shortly after, showing the moment the ceremony turned to panic. People crowding around the opening in the ice, movement becoming frantic as she went under. Emergency responders were called, but when divers arrived, the conditions made the search extremely difficult.
Все, поехали потихоньку. Проверка связи сразу. Налево, поправо крутись, через правое плечо крутись. Давно не обеспечено.
Currents beneath the ice cut visibility to almost nothing. Authorities later noted that the opening had been cut in a particularly hazardous section of the river, an area already known locally for unpredictable water movement and past drownings, even outside of winter. Officials described it as one of the most dangerous stretches in the region, where currents can carry objects far from where they first entered. Despite repeated diving efforts and an extensive search, Anna Uskov was never found. The river gave nothing back, and no clear trace was recovered. The case remains one of the most referenced examples of how quickly a structured winter ritual can fall apart, and how little time there is to respond when it does. Her disappearance has never been fully resolved. Some environments leave no room for error and no way to undo what happens once conditions take over. What do you think is harder to accept? That the danger was already there before anyone stepped in, or that there was no way to know? On January 11, 2022, a road crew was running their standard route, clearing a quiet rural stretch after a night of heavy snowfall. The work was routine. The crew had settled into the familiar pace of winter maintenance. Nothing unusual, nothing to prepare them for what came next. Then the plow pushed through a thick ridge of packed ice, and something underneath stopped everything. From a distance, it looked like a bundle of winter clothing left on the side of the road. But as the workers moved closer, the shape didn't fit that explanation. It wasn't discarded gear. It was a man, frozen solid, lying half buried in the snow.
Чик, хуяк, лежит нахуй, остыл, не дошел нахуй. И вся дела нахуй. Он скреб куда-то, решил тут прилечь нахуй.
What made the discovery even harder to process was the ground around him. The fresh snow was completely undisturbed. The surface was smooth in every direction, as if he had simply been there all along, without arriving. He was dressed for the cold, but the cold had taken him anyway. The worker stepped back and contacted local authorities. No trail, no context, nothing that explained how a man ended up frozen in the middle of a cleared road with no trace of how he got there. This footage remains online. A still, silent image of someone whose last hours left nothing behind. Cases like this raise questions that don't always get answered, about how someone ends up in a place with no visible path leading there. What do you think happened before that road crew arrived? On December 25, 2025, the Sargi family uploaded a video from their remote cabin property, where the channel often documents daily work, land maintenance, and survival preparation in the woods. The video begins with the group already deep into outdoor work, treating the land less like a simple backyard and more like a place that constantly needs to be cleared, maintained, and kept under control. They start by widening the access road, cutting farther into the forest so the cabin can still be reached before winter fully closes in. Fallen trees are pulled aside with a winch, blocked sections are cleared, and for a short while, the property feels open again. But as snow begins to build, the work becomes more defensive. Plowing starts early, firewood is stacked, and tools are checked between each task. Everything slowly turns into holding the line before the weather takes over. Then something breaks the normal routine. A trail camera near the tree line captures movement that does not match the usual stillness. At first, it looks like only a figure near the edge of the woods, easy to miss. But after the footage is reviewed, it becomes clear that a man with a dog steps into view and stops right before the open ground. He does not keep walking forward. Instead, he appears for a moment and then disappears almost as quickly. In a quiet place like this, where there is almost nothing around for miles except forest and a cabin, the moment feels wrong. He is not moving like someone lost or simply passing through. He stays in the bushes, as if watching the property, checking it, and then hiding the moment he feels exposed. The dog stays close, but the man's attention appears to remain on the cabin. Later, the creator watches the footage more than once, trying to understand what he has captured. He looks around the property, checks the nearby area, and goes back through the camera angles. But nothing explains it. There are no tracks, no follow-up signs, and no clear reason why someone would stop there, hide, watch, and then vanish completely. In a place where almost nothing moves without a reason, that behavior does not feel easy to ignore. It may have been an innocent moment, but the way he stopped and disappeared makes it difficult to see it that simply. If someone appeared like that near your cabin, would you wait for answers or leave before dark? On July 31st, 2025, Paranormal Discovery uploaded a video from a remote woodland reserve in the United States, where the channel follows strange investigations, isolated locations, and unexplained activity in the dark. The area was a dense and quiet forest, known for unusual energy and odd wildlife behavior. Thick brush, scattered cliffs, and a heavy silence set up what would become a deeply unsettling night. The investigator arrived with his dog Akia, not knowing the night would involve strange shapes, eerie sounds, and unexplained movement around the campsite. Some people go into the wild looking for fear, while others only watch it from safety. But in this case, the line between curiosity and danger began to feel very thin.
I'm just gonna leave this recording because
Grandfather.
really we need something
Senses.
just to like freaking be recording if anything were to go down. Any noises. Damn, why is it blurry? Whew. You know, I kind of like having this girl around, man, on adventures. This one, she did pretty good. She didn't seem to be overly too freaked out. All right, kid, let's go.
He moved carefully through the dark forest, sweeping his flashlight across the trees and shadows. Every cracking branch and distant rustle made the place feel more unstable. Akia reacted to things he could not clearly see, growling and sniffing the air as rough, raspy sounds echoed from the cliffs. The noises sounded disturbingly close to human voices, but nothing visible explained where they were coming from. With each step, the unease grew stronger, almost as if the forest itself was awake and watching.
Yo, we just got robbed. Yeah, and someone just came and took the tent. What the fuck? Can you see that? Why is it over there? Why is there a tent over there? Someone in our tent? Akio, what the fuck? Oh, I'm shaking. Oh, shit.
Dress.
Yeah, it's gone from our spot. Someone in our tent? I'm armed and coming around. Are you in the tent? Come on out. I literally see like weight in the tent.
The noise was him.
What? What noise? Okay, this is not funny. Whoever's in the tent, come on out. I'm actually armed. Hello? What the fuck? Kia, what the hell? What are you looking at? What are you looking at? Someone's hiding? Yeah? Is someone hiding?
Knocks.
Tree knocks. Holy shit.
Hopefulness.
There's no fucking way, Kia.
We live in the shadows.
Okay, what? Oh, you know what that is? It's a porcupine. This thing's heavy to freaking drag, bro. Oh my God. Someone came to the camp and like legit moved our tent to the other side. Monkey. Back.
I was so scared.
When he returned to camp, he found that his tent had somehow been shifted across the clearing. Akia immediately became tense, focused on something just outside the light. Rustling, snapping branches, and low growls seemed to move around them in the darkness. When he later reviewed photos, faint, human-like shapes appeared near the tree line, even though nothing had been visible to his eyes at the time. Panic started to build as he rushed back toward the tent, unsure what might be moving nearby or how close it really was.
This way.
Let's play a game.
No freaking way. Damn game.
You are harmonious.
What is going on right now? Okay, Key.
Watch out.
Fuck. Yeah, this is a weird one. Someone's over there. Oh. I literally got in the tent, laid down, and I fell asleep. Currently right now it's 2:37 a.m. I'm getting freaked out. I thought I was hearing some stuff, like some stuff down there, but legit I keep feeling like that could have been like in my head or like a dream or something. It wasn't a long sleep since we last like came up here, but I don't know. It was very, very light and you almost feel like no time has passed at all. You know what I mean? You okay? You're a good girl. She's been doing good. She's doing okay. I think whatever is out there is getting to her as well because it was pretty loud. At least one of the sounds that I heard came from out there. Nervous, dude. It's nerve-wracking out here, man. Like you don't know what's gonna actually come at you. Okay, I'm gonna try and get some more shut-eye.
Inside the tent, he kept watching the woods through night vision, while Akia remained nervous and restless. Low moans, quiet whispers, and distant growls drifted between the trees.
Something's out there. Good girl. I legit woke up to that. There was something moving. Okay. I don't know what to think right now. Oh, I'm freaked out. Almost sounds like something's moving out there, but it stopped when I started listening. Something is circling our tent right now. I do have a night vision on the other side as well, so it's kind of crazy right now. All of our batteries are drained. This one has like 3 minutes left. Alright, I think it's time to hit the hay, get some more sleep, and wake up in the morning.
The activity seemed to continue from several directions, with sounds circling the tent and heavy footsteps pacing just beyond the light. Akia kept shifting and growling, making it harder to believe the sounds were only in his head. Exhausted but too afraid to fully rest, the investigator stayed alert, listening into the silence and trying to understand what was outside. By morning, the feeling of being watched had not completely gone away. The strange sounds, shadows, and unexplained movement left him shaken and unsure of what he had truly encountered. For Paranormal Discovery, the night became a disturbing reminder that some forests can feel empty until something starts answering back. Maybe there was a simple explanation hidden in the dark, but when a tent moves, a dog reacts, and sounds circle from every side. How long would you stay before leaving? A group of tourists had been walking through the bush, casually filming the scenery around them, capturing what seemed like another calm moment outdoors. Then, without any warning, everything suddenly changed. From between the trees, silent, sudden, and extremely close, a local indigenous man appeared. The mood changes immediately. What had been a simple scenic walk becomes a tense encounter in the middle of nowhere. To understand why this moment feels so intense, you have to understand a little about New Zealand's indigenous people, the Maori. The Maori are the original Polynesian settlers of Aotearoa, arriving more than 700 years ago. Their connection to the land is deeply rooted. Forests, rivers, and mountains are not just part of the scenery. They are ancestral places connected to identity, history, and spiritual belief. Some locations are considered tapu, meaning sacred or restricted. And while most Maori communities today are welcoming and fully part of modern society, entering certain remote or culturally important areas without permission can be viewed as highly disrespectful. What makes this footage unsettling is not clear aggression, it is the isolation. The Blue River area is not a crowded tourist spot. In some places you can be miles away from help, and no simple way out if the situation gets worse. The man does not seem extremely violent, but he also does not seem welcoming. And when you are standing in unfamiliar territory, far from help, that feeling hits much harder. So we can only hope the moment de-escalated and that the tourist made it back safely without being harmed. Still, when someone appears that suddenly in a remote forest, it is hard to know if it was only a warning, a misunderstanding, or something more serious. If you were deep in the bush and a stranger stepped out of the trees like that, what would you have done? Another case takes us into a remote snowy forest, where a hunter suddenly found himself in a situation that turned an ordinary hunting trip into a fight to stay alive. Sergei Karolsky posted the incident on March 8, 2021, showing the tense and frightening moments as they happened. The day had begun like any normal trip. The forest was quiet, covered in deep snow, and the sharp winter air felt heavy with silence. The hunter and his friend were tracking game when something moving in the distance caught their attention. At first, it was only a small movement, almost like a shadow between the trees, but that shadow quickly became clear. A large wolf had spotted the hunter, and within seconds, the situation changed completely.
Кирилл! Смотри уже! Стреляй! Стреляй!
Without warning, the wolf charged. The hunter froze for a brief moment, his heart racing as the animal rushed through the snow and closed the distance with terrifying speed. The wolf's teeth were exposed, and each stride brought it closer. In that moment, the hunter's friend reacted fast. He raised his weapon and fired. The shot broke through the silent forest. The wolf dropped almost immediately. Its attack stopped just before it could reach the hunter. Shaken but still alive, the hunter stumbled backward, trying to understand how quickly the situation had turned dangerous. For Sergei Karolsky, the encounter became a hard reminder of how fast things can change in the wild. He walked away unharmed that day, but the image of the charging wolf stayed with him long after he left the woods. Maybe it was simply nature acting on instinct, but in that moment, there was no time to think. If you were standing there, would you freeze, run, or trust the person beside you to react first? That's all for tonight's video. Which encounter gave you chills? Let us know in the comments below. Got your own experience? We want to hear it. And whatever you do, don't miss what's coming next.